I don't know where to even begin. My name is Daniel. I'm 29. And 10 years ago, my older brother Caleb vanished without a trace. No goodbye, no call. Just gone. Our family fell apart after that. My mom blamed herself. My dad drank himself into a coma. Literally, and I just buried it. I never told anyone. The last thing Caleb said to me before he disappeared, he never opened that box in the attic. Some things don't stay buried. I thought he was joking. We were teenagers, 16 and 19, and he was always trying to scare me. We just moved into our grandfather's old house after he passed. It was filled with dusty rooms, deadbolts on the inside of closets, and strange hand-carved symbols on the basement door. Classic horror movie stuff. But here is the thing: I did open the box. It had journals in it, written in different handwriting. Dates going back to 1912. Most pages were just gibberish symbols. Ramblings. But one stuck with me: blood remembers. Silence feeds. Ashes rise. I didn't know what that meant. I still don't. I tossed the journals in the fireplace the next day, freaked out. Then Caleb was gone. Fast forward 10 years, I'm living in the same town, working at trying to forget. My parents moved to Arizona. We barely talk. I'm engaged. Life is stable. Until 2 nights ago, I come home, and there is someone standing in my living room, wearing my brother's hoodie. The exact same hoodie he disappeared in. Gray with the burnt red sleeves. I remember because I cried when Mom threw it out after a year of him missing. Said she couldn't keep holding on to ghosts. The guy's face is hidden in the shadows. But then he steps forward, and I swear to God it's Caleb. Same eyes, same jawline, same crooked tooth on the left side, only he looks older than 29. He looks broken. I whisper Caleb. And he smiles. But it's not a smile of reunion. It's angry. Then he says, "You left me there. You killed me, Danny. And now it's your turn." He drops something on the floor. It's one of the burned journals. Still warm. Then he walks out the front door. Vanishes into the fog like some ghost from a nightmare. I haven't told anyone yet. Not even my fiancé. I don't know what is happening. But I think whatever was in that attic, didn't he stay buried? And if Caleb's right, I think I may have brought something back with me 10 years ago that I didn't sleep that night. Who would I sat on the couch for hours, just staring at the journal he dropped. I burned these journals. I remember it. I watched them turn to ash. But this one, it's untouched. No soot. No smoke damage. Just that same leather binding and brittle yellow pages. The first page is filled with one line, written over and over again. He watches in the silence. He waits for the ash to rise. Around 4 a.m., I couldn't take it anymore. I went to the attic. It's still exactly the same as it was 10 years ago. Same sagging floorboards. Same moth-eaten curtains. Same box in the corner, except that box should be gone. I burned it too. I approach it slowly. My hands are shaking. It's open. Inside 3 journals, including the one Caleb dropped. A cracked photograph of 2 boys. One of them looks exactly like me. But it's not me a necklace. The one Mom buried with Grandpa. I pick it up. It's cold. Ice cold. And on the chain is a charm I've never seen before. Some sort of rune carved into obsidian. That's when I hear it, the floorboard behind me creaks. I spin around. No one else there. Then the attic light bulb explodes. I stumble back, heart pounding. And suddenly, I see something carved into the wall in fresh gouges. You opened it now? He is coming for all of us. I ran out of the attic, slammed the door shut, deadbolted it, my fiancé. Marissa found me an hour later sitting in the bathtub, fully clothed, shaking. I told her I had a nightmare. I didn't know how to explain any of this. But now I have to. Because today, while she was brushing her teeth, she turned to me and asked, "Hey, babe, did you find an old necklace somewhere? I had a dream last night that you gave me one with some weird black charm. It was freezing cold." I never told her about the necklace. I never even brought it downstairs. Something is not right. And it's not just about Caleb anymore. I finally called my mom. I didn't want to, but I had to. I needed answers about the house, about Caleb, about the attic. She sounded tired when she picked up, like hollow, like someone who hadn't slept in a decade. I asked her straight up, "Did Grandpa ever talk about the attic?" She went quiet. Then she said something I didn't expect. "Don't go in there, Danny. Please, I begged your father to seal it for good." She started crying. I heard a glass break in the background. My dad shouting. I asked her, "What was in that box, Mom?" She said one word, and it chilled me more than anything Caleb ever did. Names. Then she hung up. I was about to call back when I got a text from an unknown number. No name, no contact info, just a photo. It was of my front door taken from inside the house. There was a caption, "Still pretending none of this happened. He remembers. Do you?" I ran to the door. Locked. Checked every window. Nothing broken. But the closet next to the door, the one we never use, it was wide open. And on the inside of the door, scratched deep into the wood, ashes rise. I did what anyone would do. I went to the police. I brought the photo. Told them someone broke in. They wrote it up as a trespassing report and told me to install cameras. That was it. I asked if they could pull prints from the closet door. They said, "Sure, but don't get your hopes up." As I was leaving, one of the officers, an older guy, pulled me aside, said he recognized my last name. "You Daniel Elwood?" I nodded. His face turned pale. "Your grandfather used to come in here every year. Same date. Said someone was after him. They claim they were hiding inside the walls of that house." I asked him what date. He looked it up. July 23rd. That is today. When I got home, Marissa was sitting on the floor in the hallway crying. I dropped everything and ran to her. "What happened?" She didn't answer. I followed her gaze, and my heart stopped. There were photos pinned all over the hallway wall. Old cracked Polaroids of us sleeping, eating, sitting on the couch. Dozens of them, all taken from inside the house. She kept whispering, "This ISNT real. This ISNT real." I looked closer at the pictures. In each one in the background, there's a figure hunched, blurred, wearing Caleb's hoodie. But here is the part that makes no sense. These photos are dated. Some are from 8 years ago. others 5. One is from 2 weeks after we moved in, which means whoever this is, he has been in our house for years, watching, waiting, and maybe worst of all, I don't think it was ever just Caleb. Marissa wanted to leave the house that night. I agreed. We checked into a motel across town. Nothing fancy. Just 4 walls that weren't watching us. I didn't sleep. Not really. Around 2 a.m., I went outside to get air. That's when I saw him again across the street. Caleb just standing under the motel sign. Hands in his hoodie. Watching. I stepped forward. "Why are you doing this?" I asked. Didn't he blink? Didn't he move? Then he said something I'll never forget. "You buried me, Danny." But I remember the dirt. The cold. I remember what you said that night. "I never buried you," I shouted. "You ran off," he tilted his head. "Is that what they told you?" Then he walked away, disappeared behind the motel. I chased after him, but when I turned the corner, he was gone. What I did find, though, was another journal laid on the ground where he stood. The same style as before. Cracked leather. Yellow pages. But this one wasn't he like the others. This one had my name carved into the front cover. I didn't he open the journal right away. I stared at it for hours. When morning came, I finally flipped it open. The first page wasn't he handwritten. It was typed. Old school typewriter style. And it said case log 0:34. Subject Daniel Elwood. Status reawakened. Risk level high, witness contact C. Elwood. Next marking phase, incomplete notes. Repressed memories stable. Monitor for cracks. Ash level 2-5. I have no idea what any of that means. Case log repressed memories. Ash level, I showed it to Marissa. She wanted to call the police again. But that's when my phone rang. It was a blocked number I picked up. A woman's voice whispered, Wasn't he supposed to find you yet? You need to leave before the others wake up." "Who are you?" I demanded, but she hung up. Seconds later, another message arrived. A photo. It was of my childhood bedroom. The old one from the house we lived in before, Grandpa S. There was a woman in the photo sitting on my old bed. I recognized her immediately. Her name is Vera. She used to babysit Caleb and me when we were little. She disappeared when I was 8. Everyone said she moved away. But in the photo, she hadn't aged a day. I drove to the old house. The one from the photo. The one we lived in before Grandpa died. It's been abandoned for years. Yellow tape still on the windows. Boards across the doors. No one has been here since the fire. Only now I'm starting to wonder if that fire was really an accident. I pried open the back door. Everything smelled like mildew and ash. My old room was still intact. Somehow scorched but standing. And on the wall above the bed, there was something carved into the blackened plaster. Daniel stopped the clock. I don't even know what that means. But something inside me shifted when I saw it. Like a string snapped. A pressure behind my eyes. Then I heard it a tick-tick. Tick. There in the closet was an old wind-up alarm clock. Still ticking. Still running. But the hands were frozen. At 3 a.m., I picked it up. That's when I noticed the message scratched into the back. This is where you left her. I dropped it. I don't know why. But I whispered Vera. And then behind me, I heard the floorboards creak. I turned around and saw something I still don't believe. It was her. Same face. Same gray cardigan. Same gentle eyes. Only now her smile was wrong. Stretched too wide, eyes too still. She stepped forward. You shouldn't be here, Danny. I backed away. Vera, I asked. She smiled wider. You don't remember what you did. She said, but he does. He always remembers. I asked her what she meant, what Caleb was talking about, what any of this was, and then she said something that made the bottom fall out of my world. The attic, wasn't he the first time you opened it? I froze. She pointed to the closet. The same closet Caleb used to be terrified of as a kid. The one we never opened after dark. You opened it when you were 8. You let it in. Suddenly, I remembered something. A flash. Me standing in front of that closet. Holding a necklace. Whispering words. Didn't he understand? Caleb crying. Vera screaming. The closet door pulling itself open. And something crawling out. But before I could say anything, Vera vanished. 1 second she was there, the next she was gone. No noise. Number wind. Just gone. The only thing left was a scrap of paper on the floor where she stood. It read he buried the memories. But they grow like roots. I don't know what is real anymore. But I think I'm starting to remember. I thought I was going crazy. But I'm not. I'm remembering. I sat in my car outside the old house for hours after Vera disappeared, just trying to breathe. But the images kept coming like a dam broke in my mind. Me, Caleb. The closet, I was 8. He was 11. Vera was babysitting us during a storm. Caleb had a fever, and Vera was on the phone with Mom. I remember it now clear as day. I heard something inside the closet. Not scratching. Whispers. They were saying my name. I thought it was a game. Some story Vera had told us the week before about the Ashman, a shadow who lives behind doors and trades memories for secrets. I wanted to prove I wasn't afraid. So I opened it. I found a box there first. The same box that later ended up in Grandpa S' attic. Only this time it opened itself. Inside teeth. Not human. Small animal maybe wrapped in hair. A key and a paper with 3 names. The first was mine, the second Caleb. The third was smudged out. Vera screamed. Grabbed me, told me not to look. Said it was waking up, but it was too late. The air went cold. The lights went out. And that's when something came out of the closet. It was tall, thin, faceless. But worst of all, it smelled like burning paper and wet dirt. I called my mom again. This time I didn't ask, I demanded. What happened when I was 8? Silence. Then you were sleepwalking. You got into the medicine cabinet and scared Caleb. Vero left the next day. It wasn't your fault. I told her I remembered the box. The whispers. The thing in the closet. Dead silence. Then she said something I wasn't ready for. It followed us what? From that night on was in your drawings. You're sleep-talking the dog. Wouldn't he go near your room and Caleb? Caleb said it sat in the corner every night. Why didn't you tell me? She sounded broken. Because it said if we spoke of it again, it would take you next. My skin went cold. Why didn't it take Caleb? Then she didn't answer. But I heard my dad in the background shout, because he gave himself to it. That's what he did, and we let him. Then the line went dead. Now I'm sitting here, staring at a piece of that journal I tore out this morning. It had a single sentence. The brother must be buried to wake the one who watches. I think Caleb didn't disappear. I think I buried him. But not in the way I ever understood. I came back to the house, not because I wanted to, but because I have to remember all of it now. The attic, the journals, the box, Caleb's hoodie. It's all here, waiting like it never left. Marissa begged me not to go. She cried, actually. Said she was having nightmares. Woke up with a nosebleed this morning and found mud on the sheets. She asked me, why is there dirt under your fingernails? I didn't know how to answer. Because I don't remember digging anything. Except there was a shovel in the backyard. Fresh soil. Something had been moved. I don't sleepwalk. I haven't tea in years. Unless I send me walking anymore. Unless he has been using me. In the attic, I found the box again. This time, it had a new name carved into the inside lid. Marissa, I dropped it. My hands were shaking. That's when I heard a voice behind me. You were supposed to forget we were safe. Until she started remembering it was Marissa. Standing there, pale, barefoot, eyes glassy, I asked her what she meant. She blinked, then started to cry. They made me watch when I was a kid. I thought it was a dream. She pointed to the old Polaroids on the attic wall. I was in one of them, Daniel. I looked. She was right in the background of a photo dated 17 years. Marissa broke down. Said her mother used to bring her here. Said there were other kids. They sat in a circle, whispered names into jars, buried things under the floorboards. She remembered a tall man in a long coat. No face, no voice, just tapping like a metronome. Like the ticking clock in my old room. She called him the Watcher. She said he told her that one day she'd come back to help open the ash. I asked her why she never told me. And then she said something that nearly made me vomit. Because I wasn't supposed to fall in love with you. I was supposed to bring you back. She reached into her pocket and pulled out the necklace. The same one that had been in the attic. The one Grandpa was buried with. The one I never gave her. It calls to me. She whispered, and when I sleep, I see him standing behind your eyes. I backed away. Suddenly, it all made sense. The photos, the dirt, the sleepwalking. She didn't betray me. She was part of it before we ever met. But here is the worst part. As she cried and begged me to forgive her, her shadow on the attic wall started moving on its own. And it whispered something to me. Caleb isn't, the one who died in that house ago. There is a little girl standing at the bottom of the stairs. It's Marissa. She was in this house long before we ever met. The truth hit me like a freight train. I went back to the backyard. The place with the disturbed soil. I don't even remember grabbing the shovel. My hands were moving on their own. I dug until my fingers bled. and I found it a shoebox wrapped in plastic. Inside a child S drawing. M.E. and Caleb. Stick figures. But mine had no eyes and necklace. The original one and a toothed human. When I touched it, everything came back. That night, the attic. The ritual. Caleb screaming. Me chanting words from the journal. The room shaking. The thing coming through the door. Not for Caleb, for me. But Caleb, he stepped in front of me. He whispered something and then shoved me out of the circle. And it took him, he traded places with me. I was supposed to be the vessel. I was the marked one, I was Daniel. The opener. But he broke the cycle. He sacrificed himself. And I forgot. They made me forget my parents. Vera, the watchers. The shadows in the attic. They burned my memories. Fed them to the house. But Caleb never forgot. That's why he came back. He is not here to hurt me. He is here to warn me. Because something else got out that night. And it's still hungry. I ran back to the house. Marissa was waiting for me. She knew you remember now. Don't you, she said. I nodded. She wasn't crying anymore. Her eyes were clear. Sad. Calm. I didn't know what they were doing when I was a kid. She said, but when I found you, I knew you were still part of it. I was supposed to watch you. Make sure you never remembered. Then why stay, I asked. She looked down. Because you loved me before I knew how to love myself. And because deep down, I think part of me hoped you'd remember. That you'd end it. The air shifted. The lights in the house flickered. And then he appeared. Caleb, but not in shadows. He stepped into the light, pale eyes glowing faintly. The hoodie torn, covered in ash. He looked at me, not angry, just tired. He said, it's not me you have to fear anymore. It's what came back with me. The house began to shake. Floorboards splitting. The attic door slammed open above us and from the darkness. We heard it again, tick, tick, tick. Then the voice, the final name, is awake. The house was collapsing. Not in the literal sense, but in layers. Walls warping, hallways looping, shadows bleeding down the stairs like smoke. Caleb grabbed my hand. You don't have much time. You either give it what it wants, or it takes everything. Marissa stepped forward, shaking. He means your memory, your soul. The thing feeds on stories forgotten. It's trying to erase you again. The attic door yawned open above us, wide as a mouth. Inside I saw it. The watcher. Not tall. Not monstrous. Just a void in the shape of a man. No face. Just tick, tick, tick. He raised his hand, and suddenly I was 8 again. Standing in the attic, holding the box. The voices were louder now. Choose open. Burn. Forget. Caleb stood beside me in that vision, blood dripping from his nose. He only wins if you forget again. If you bury me again. I looked down. In my hand were 2 names carved in bone. Daniel. Caleb. One of them had to burn. One memory. One story. One soul. I looked at my brother. I finally understood. He never wanted revenge. He just wanted me to remember him. I made my choice. I threw my own name into the fire. Flames roared. The attic screamed. The watcher shrieked like metal tearing in half. And then silence. I woke up 3 days later in a hospital. Marissa was there holding my hand. She remembered everything too. The fire, the attic, the name. But here is the part that haunts me most. The police dug under the house, following reports of sinkholes. They found a box. Inside, a drawing of 2 boys. A cracked photo of a family. A journal labeled Caleb Elwood, the one who remembers. They asked me who he was. I said he was my brother. But here is the twist. They said there is no record of a Caleb Elwood. No birth certificate. No school files. No missing persons report. As far as we can tell, you were an only child. But I remember him, and every night at exactly 3 a.m. I hear ticking in the walls, and sometimes I hear him whisper, "Don't forget me again."